We all have a story, right? A story made up of threads of joy and sorrow, moments of triumph, and times we just barely made it through. Our stories are messy and beautiful, winding and unpredictable. And for so long we've been told to keep them to ourselves, to not burden others with our experiences, to not appear weak or vulnerable. But you know what I've learned? Vulnerability isn't weakness. It's the birthplace of courage, connection, and confidence. It's in the sharing of our stories, in the letting go of perfection and embracing authenticity, that we truly step into our power. So, if you've been holding back, afraid to let your story be seen and heard, I invite you to join me. Let's explore how sharing your journey, with all its imperfections and triumphs, can be the very thing that unleashes your confidence and inspires others to do the same. Sharing your story requires a willingness to dive deep within yourself. It asks you to reflect, to revisit the moments that shaped you, the challenges that tested you, and the victories that lifted you. And in that reflection, in the act of remembering and honoring your experiences, you begin to uncover a deeper understanding of who you are. When you take the time to write down your story, you start to notice patterns. You see how you responded to certain situations, how you navigated obstacles, and how you emerged from those experiences changed. The act of owning your journey, of acknowledging both the struggles and the triumphs, shines a light on the incredible capacity for growth that resides within you. Because when you can see how far you've come, your confidence begins to blossom. So often we get caught up in comparing ourselves to others, but when you take the time to truly own your journey, you start to see yourself through a more compassionate and empowering lens. Let's face it, we live in a world that often celebrates perfection. Social media feeds are filled with curated images of success, happiness, and flawlessness, leaving us feeling like we're not enough if our lives don't measure up. But here's the truth. Perfection is an illusion. It's unattainable and frankly kind of boring. What makes us interesting, what connects us as human beings, is our shared experience of imperfection. We all stumble, we all fall down, we all make mistakes. And it's in those moments of vulnerability, when we have the courage to share our struggles, that we truly connect with others. When we allow ourselves to be seen in our messiness, we give others permission to do the same. We create a space for authenticity and connection, where people feel safe to show up as their true, imperfect selves. And here's the thing about sharing our struggles. It normalizes imperfection. It reminds us that we're not alone in our struggles, that everyone faces challenges, and that setbacks are not failures but opportunities for growth. One of the most beautiful paradoxes of life is that when we focus on lifting others up, we often find ourselves rising too. There's something incredibly empowering about using our voices and experiences to encourage and inspire those around us. When we share our stories, we never know who might be listening. Our words might land on the heart of someone who's struggling with something similar, offering them a glimmer of hope or a reminder that they're not alone. And when we see how our vulnerability can impact others, it deepens our sense of purpose and reinforces our own self-worth. Suddenly, we're not just sharing our stories for ourselves, we're sharing them to make a difference in the lives of others. Knowing that our experiences can serve as a source of strength and inspiration for others is incredibly validating. It reminds us that our voices matter, that our stories have the power to create positive change in the world. So often we underestimate the impact we can have on others. Let's talk about celebrating wins. In a world that often tells us to stay humble, to downplay our achievements, I want to encourage you to embrace the power of celebrating your victories, big and small. Because here's the thing, celebrating our wins isn't about ego or arrogance. It's about acknowledging our efforts, honoring our progress, and giving ourselves permission to feel proud of how far we've come. When we take the time to celebrate our accomplishments, we reinforce our sense of self-efficacy. We remind ourselves that we are capable of achieving our goals, and that, my friends, is a powerful confidence booster. It's about acknowledging our progress, both internally and externally. It's about taking a moment to reflect on how far we've come, to appreciate the effort we've put in, and to acknowledge the obstacles we've overcome along the way. And it's about sharing those victories with others, not to brag, but to inspire, to connect, and to create a culture of celebration and support. When we share our wins with others, we invite them to celebrate with us. We create a ripple effect of positivity and encouragement that can be incredibly motivating, both for ourselves and for those around us. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, the fear of judgment. It's the voice in our heads that whispers, "What will people think?" It's the hesitation we feel when we consider sharing our authentic selves with the world, and it's one of the biggest obstacles to sharing our stories and stepping into our power. Because here's the thing, judgment is inevitable. As long as we're putting ourselves out there, there will always be someone who has an opinion. But here's the liberating truth, their judgment says more about them than it does about us. It's a reflection of their own insecurities, their own beliefs, and their own experiences. It doesn't diminish our worth or invalidate our experiences. The fear of judgment thrives in silence. But when we choose courage over comfort, when we dare to speak our truth even in the face of potential criticism, we chip away at that fear. We dismantle its power over us, brick by brick. We humans are wired for connection. We crave belonging, that deep sense of being seen, heard, and understood by others. And it's through sharing our stories, through allowing ourselves to be vulnerable and authentic with one another, that we forge those bonds of connection. When we open up and share our experiences, we create a space for others to do the same. We signal that it's safe to be vulnerable, to let down our guards, and to show up as our true selves, imperfections and all. And when we feel seen and accepted for who we are, it builds our confidence. Suddenly, we're not navigating the world alone. We have a tribe, a community, a network of support that we can lean on when times get tough and celebrate with when we experience victories. Building connections, however, isn't just about sharing our stories. It's about listening to the stories of others. It's about approaching each interaction with curiosity and empathy, seeking to understand rather than judge. There's a special kind of magic that happens when we share our stories and in doing so inspire others to embrace their own journeys. It's a reminder that our experiences, our struggles, and our triumphs have the power to ignite something within others, to spark a flame of hope, courage, or determination. When we share our stories authentically, we give others permission to do the same. We show them that it's okay to be vulnerable, to embrace their imperfections, and to step into their own power. And when we witness that transformation, it reinforces our sense of purpose. It reminds us that our stories matter, that our voices have the power to create positive change, and that we are capable of making a difference in the world. Inspiring others isn't about being perfect or having all the answers. It's about being willing to show up authentically, to share our experiences, and to offer support and encouragement along the way. It's about creating a ripple effect of positivity and empowerment. So how do we inspire others? We start by living our lives with intention, by striving to be the best versions of ourselves, and by pursuing our passions with heart and soul. In the quiet moments of reflection, when we allow ourselves to sit with our thoughts and experiences, a profound shift occurs. We begin to see our lives, our choices, and ourselves with greater clarity. Patterns emerge, insights arise, and we gain a deeper understanding of who we are at our core. Reflection isn't just about revisiting the past, it's about using those experiences as a springboard for growth and self-discovery. It's about asking ourselves the tough questions. What have I learned from this experience? How have I changed? What truly matters to me? And as we delve deeper into these reflections, we uncover hidden truths about ourselves. We discover our values, our passions, and the things that bring us joy. Reflection is a journey of self-discovery, a process of uncovering the essence of who we are and what we're meant to do in the world. It's a space where we can be honest with ourselves, where we can acknowledge our strengths and weaknesses, and where we can begin to envision the life we truly want to live. So, how do we cultivate a practice of reflection? We start by creating space in our lives for stillness and solitude. Whether it's through journaling, meditation, spending time in nature, or simply carving out a few quiet moments each day, we need to create opportunities to disconnect from the external world and reconnect with ourselves. Outro, your story matters. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this, your story matters. It's a tapestry woven from threads of joy and sorrow, triumph and adversity, love and loss. It's what makes you uniquely you, and it deserves to be told. Sharing your story is an act of courage, a declaration that your experiences have value, that your voice deserves to be heard, and that your journey, with all its imperfections and triumphs, is worthy of celebration. It's about embracing your authentic self, stepping into your power, and inspiring others to do the same. So I challenge you to share your story. Start small if you need to, with a trusted friend or family member. Write it down, share it online, or simply speak your truth into the universe. Because when you do, you not only honor your own journey, but you also create ripples of hope, connection, and inspiration that extend far beyond yourself.